bhaje. Ramena vijata nishacharachamu Ramaya tasmai namaha. Raman nasti parayanam parataram Ramasya dasosmyaham. Rame chittare sada bhautame bho Rama mamuddhara. Rama rameti rameti rame rame manorame. Sahasranama tattulyam Ramanama varanane. Shri Ramanama varanana onnama iti. Tamasha sutrani. Ayyan rulruk yong ayauch hayavarat lan nyamanga nanam javai garadash jabagadash kapha cha 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 tav kapai shashasar hal. Tamasha sutrani. Okay, let's continue from last time. I think we were doing this. Let me just expand the focus for this. Expand, I guess, okay. So we were doing this verse number 23 last time. Verse number 23. It says, Asasad mundir atmanaha tataha shishya varga parikalpitarhanam. Before I go on, when is the recording okay? Just make sure. I think Manoj is recording.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Okay, sorry. So I just make sure the class records. So, Asasad Mundirat Punastataha Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dravam Darshanon Mukhamragan Tapovanam. No time. Asasad Mundirat Punastataha Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dravam Darshanon Mukhamragan Tapovanam. Okay, so this is the simple sentence that we saw already last time was that Munihi Tapovanam Asasada. Munin Tapovanam Asasada. That's the simple sentence. Now let me just open up our document. So dhatu there was a plus sad. Sad is can mean to sit, also to sink. Like Vishada means to be depressed. Very first chapter of Gita, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. There's also dhatu sad. Visad means to be depressed. But here we of course a lit lakara. We went through it last time. Just like the lit lakara, as we've seen, is only the third person is the main thing because it's parokshe lit, and in third person parasnipadam we get the Adeshas for tip dash G becomes null atus us. So null only means the because chitu and halantyam. And that sutram, of course, we've seen many times. And that's the one in 3.4. Because all these lakara sambandhi adeshas, they come in 3.4. They are, I think it's 3.4.82. Always keep this sutram in mind, very useful sutram. Because these first three pratyas are going to be coming all the time, which is null atus us. So I think it's 3.4.82. So parasnipadanam null atus us thal atus a null vamaha. So that's when it, and the other thing we did was the atopadhaya 72116. The sad becomes sad. Sad becomes sad because of the fact that that null has that no as an it. By 72116, if a pratyaya has the nakara or the chavarga panchamang nyakara as an it, then the penultimate takes for the atopadhaya. So it should become pretty straightforward for us. So let's see today. I think we also finished some part of this samasaha which we had done. Is so simple sentence Munihi Astapovanam Asasada. So the Muni came to his ashrama, his vanam, which is good for tapas. Tapovanam asasada. Now tataha comes at the beginning of the sentence. Tataha means tadanantaram, after that. And then we're looking at this first compound, which is shishya varga parikalpitarhanam. So what does Malinatha give? Shishya vargena. No commentary on that compound. Simple compound. Shishyanam vargaha. Shishya vargena. Shishya vargena. And when you form a Tatpurusha compound like that, you can, since Tatpurusha is Uttarapada Pradhana, so then you can forget about the Shishya. Only think about Varga now. So you can start collapsing these brackets in these long compounds. You can make it easier for us by taking one bracket and collapsing that if possible. So shishya, of course, if it's a dvandva, you cannot do that. If tatpurusha is uttar prapadhana, so you can do that. So shishya vargena parikalpita. This is also another tatpurusha compound. So this is tritiya tatpurusha. And tritiya, there is, see, all compounds, as I mentioned to you, come in the Ashtadhyayi in the 2.1, 2.2. The first two parts of the second chapter of Ashtadhyayi, they contain all the sutras for compounds, which compounds can be formed. And within that, also I mentioned to you, is from 2122 to up to 2222 are the tatpurusha compounds. And in the very first part, we have what's called the Vedikarana tatpurusha. Vedikarana means Samadhikaranam gives you the karmadharya compounds. Let's go there for a second. Here in 2122 starts the tatpurusha compounds. 2122. Let's see. Okay, there is Adhikara tatpurusha which starts from here, then Digushya, etc. And then from I think 2150 something, about 49 actually, 2149. Purvakaleka sarvajarat purana navakevalaha. From here starts samadhikaranena. So these from here start the karmadharya compounds. So between this 2122 and 2149, you'll find this sutram for the titiya tatpurusha. And the one is kartukarane kritabahulam. Kartukarane kritabahulam. So if you have a kartru or a karana, either a doer or an instrument, and then followed by a krit pratyaya, which is what we have. Because if you look at our example right now, we have the parikalpita. This is what I'm going through. This is a very, very standard kind of a titiya tatpurusha compound, which is you have the nishtha pratyaya at the end over there, the kta pratyaya parikalpita, and then have either the doer or the instrument. In this case, we have the doer. Shishya vargaha is the karta. So shishya vargena parikalpita. It's very simple, titiya tatpurusha. So let me just inaugurate our document here. Shishya vargena. So the sutram is kartukarane kritabahulam, 2132. Kartukarane kritabahulam. So let me put that here. Okay. So okay. Let's see. So shishya. There is no underline. One second. We don't need underline. Shishya vargena. In fact, we could even leave out the word shishya, because as I mentioned to you, you don't need it anymore. It's already accounted for. Shishya vargena parikalpita. Parikalpita. Okay, shishya vargena parikalpita. And that compound, as I mentioned to you, is 2-1 kartukarane kritabahulam, which is 2132. Okay, so let's move on with the compound. So once we do that, now we can forget about the shishya varga. Just think about parikalpita. So we ran with that is to connect with the next part of the compound. Just think about parikalpita. And let's see what we have. Parikalpita, he gives a parya shabda. Parikalpita is sajjita. Sajja is to make ready. Sajja is to make ready. So parikalpita equals sajjita. So he makes it very clear for you. Parikalpita equals sajjita. Essentially, the purpose of this class is in large part to follow the commentary. Follow the commentary. So you can reduce all the difficult text to the commentary. And that will give you that's a stepping stone to leading them yourself. It's a very important stepping stone. We have to pay the, give the sammanam, adaraha for this tikakara. Then only we'll get their grace to able to understand these texts the way they should be interpreted. Which is what even all the translators do the same thing, which is a good thing. And of course, you don't have to accept everything what they say, but you should look at what they have to say first and then form your opinion. So parikalpita equals sajjita, means made ready. Then arhana, we went through the last time in the class. Is arhayati, sammanayati. So means that means pujayati. That is that by which you worship. That by which you worship. Now, how do I get the meaning that by which you worship? Because there is this, all krit pratyas by default are in the sense of the doer, the one who does that action. And that comes by 3, 4, 67, kartari krit. Kartari krit. But of course, arhana doesn't mean the worshipper. Doesn't mean the worshipper. Because what does Malinasa gives? He gives us the puja samagri. Puja samagri. The samagri means the puja vastuni. The things which you use for puja. Now, so it clearly is not the one who is worshipping. It is the accessories for puja. That by which you worship. How do I get the meaning that by which you worship? Because kartari krit would demand that this meaning of this krudanta form should be the worshipper, kartari krit. That's the default though. There must be something else which is going to give us the ability to get the meaning of that by which you, tritiya. Tritiya karaka meaning can be used. And that is what is coming with the adhikaraha, is what I'm trying to get you to, is in 3.3. Also I mentioned to you many times is the 3.3 of Ashtadhyayi is a single pada. How to form nama shabdas from dhatus. Only one single pada of Ashtadhyayi, main pada. How to form nouns from dhatus is 3.3. 3.3. So please always keep that in mind. Of course, the very first sutram of 3.3 is unadayo bahulam. That's an appendix to the Ashtadhyayi, un adi pratyayas. They're kind of in the gray area, which Panini accepts but does not discuss in detail. So, Vistruta Vivaranam Nasti. We don't have the detail, but it's given in the appendix. So that's so 331 starts with that Unadayo Bahulam. And then there are a number of sutras, but the one that I'm trying to get to right now is this large adhikaraha which says Bhave and Akartari Chakarake Sanyayam. So what that means is that starting from this 3.3.18, 3.3.19, whatever is pratyas that are given over here, they can be used in the sense of bhave, which means like an abstract meaning of that verb. Bhavarata means the meaning of that verb. So krud is to be angry, krodha means anger, So like that, that's bhave. Then, but the next that's one we kind of know. But the next sutram is akartri chakarake sanyayam. If it's a noun, sanyayam, it can be akartri chakaraka. It can be any karaka except kartari. So that's how we got the meaning arhana. Now, how long does adhikara go up to here? This includes basically all these masculine nouns, starting with the this pratyaya ghai, which is of course very common. Ghai is very common. Like a word like ahara. Ahara is intake. The ahara doesn't mean just taking in. Ahara means diet, food, So it is that from which the nutrients are extracted is called aharaha. So that's how you can get these kind of meanings. Otherwise, you'll be stuck only with bhave, with the 3.3.18. Actually, before that, you are stuck with the 3.4.67, which is the kartari krit. So you could not get all these meanings. So if you look at the Kashika example, he says the aharanti tasmad rasam iti aharaha. That's from which you take the nutrients. Of course, you can also look up the Shabda Kosha and get meaning like that. But this section covers these masculine nouns with ghai and these apavadas, and also the section on striyam, which is what we need right now. Striyam tin. So that runs up to 3.394 to 3.3.112. So this is also a very nice short section. How to form feminine nouns from a dhatu. How to form feminine nouns, of course, barring the unadi pratyayas. In the Ashtadhyayi, how to form feminine nouns from a dhatu is only the small section from 3.3.94. I'm not talking about adjective, I'm talking about nouns. 3.3.94 to 3.3.112. So within that, the one that we saw last time was in 3.3.107. Nyasa shranto yuch, nyasa shranto yusanyi, any nyanta. So since we have, because these are common words, like words like prarthana, sadhana, vicharana, vijñapana, all these sthapana, all these words are very common words. When you see this na coming at the end, what that really is pratyaya yuch, then you use yor anako from 711, becomes ana. then if no word can be used in the feminine until it passes through the routine of the striyam of 413. And then the first sutram says ajadyata stop. You add the a and make it akasama dirgha, make it sthapana, sthapana, vicharana, etc. So now we got the form, but in what meaning did we get it? That's important. So it is not the one who worships. That could not be used anyway because the sutram is akartari chakarike sanyayam. Akartari. This cannot be kartararthe. These pratyas which come here cannot be in the sense of the doer. They have to be in any other karaka except that, or bhave. So I think here which we can say is that by which you worship. So that will become the arhana. So that's how Mulinatha gives the meaning of the puja samagri. And again, if you don't know this, if you don't want to know this, it's also okay. It's acceptable. Mulinatha says arhana is puja samagri. But in the last class, I think just go back to a document. We had looked at this one in some detail. Hold on, what happened to? Okay, here it is. I think last class we found of this dhatu arhi, the derived dhatu, sadhita dhatu arhi, and then we added the yuch and we got the removed the it letters, yuranakau, niraniti, because the nich pratyaya drops. If the pratyaya following is a adha dhatuka which has no idagama, since the yuch becomes ana, it is no longer, it is not valadi pratyaya, it cannot take idagama, so the nit pratyaya will drops. And then as I said, we add the top and make it, and finally we do the natvam by 842, arhana. So between the repa and the nakara only comes the hakara and akara. They're both at letters. So at kupwang nung vyavayapi. So at kupu. So at letters intervening, that's okay. So we get the form arhana. Okay, let's continue from there now. So what is the next thing that he takes up? So appreciate the padanvaya. Even that's, as I said, a simple thing that you can keep on doing. Even if you don't get the meaning, at least get the padanvaya. Is tataha munihi shishya varga parikalpitarhanam. Then the next one he takes is baddha pallava putanjali dhrumam. Next one is the darshanon mukhamrgam tapovanam asasada. Sorry, atmanaha tapovanam asasada. Always keep the shashti before the noun that it connects to. Beautiful padanvaya has been done for you. So that you can also do an exercise for yourself at home. You can do the padanvaya on your own and check answer with Mulinatha what he gives. I can guarantee you by the time you finish all the Raghuvamsha Kavyam, you will know very well how to do padanvaya on your own. Not only this, you can look at, of course, Gita like Sridhar Swami's commentary or Bhagavatam, Ramayanam. So, but this is very nice way of doing padanvaya. So you can try to practice on your own and check your answer with Mulinatha, what he gives. Okay. So every shloka he has given the padanvaya for you. Simple thing like put shashti before the noun, put the visheshanam before the visheshyam. Then I say subject, object, verb. So karta, karma, tinganta padam. So all these things, beautifully. He can then put the connecting words on top. Tataha munihi. So the tataha means from the prior shloka. That's the anvaya comes from there. So so all these things we can learn from this padanvaya. Okay. Then finally this yasmin tat. Now that means that's the Bahuvri trademark. As I said to you that in the commentary in the Tika, the commentator will not tell you it's a Bahuvri. He will use the formula for Bahuvri. And Bahuvri, you have the yat tat in the Vigraha Vakyam. In the Vigraha Vakyam, if you have some form of yat tat, then that's going to be a Bahuvri compound. So Shishya Vargena Parikalpita Arhana Yasmin Tat. Okay, now one more thing, Tathoktam, so of such a kind, and that was qualifying the Tapovanam is what he's telling you. So this Tapovanam was like this, Tathoktam, show that this. He reached the Tapovanam, which was like this, which has this adjective. See, Bahuvris create adjectives. Bahuvris create adjectives because the Anyapada Pradhanaha. So because Pani Sutram says is that Anekam Anyapadarthe, Anyapadarthe. That comes in 2.2, Anekam Anyapadarthe. So it is defined. Now one more thing that which we need to do here is how did the arhana become arhana? Because we had the form arhana over here, arhana, and then it became arhanam. So this has become like a vanavat shabd. Of course, qualifying tapovanam, it became like, vanam, vane, vanani. How did that happen? Arhana becoming arhanam. The second thing we also want to see, which is actually eaten up in the sandhi here, so it's not obvious. We had parikalpita. In the compound becomes parikalpita arhanam. Parikalpita arhanam. Of course, because of the akasami dirgha, we cannot tell over here, but because it becomes parikalpita arhanam. So we need two sutras here to first make this one short at the end. The arhana becomes arhanam. Like in the Gita, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Sthita prajna yasya saha. How did it become prajna become prajna? That's one thing we need to wind up. And also that the visheshanam in that component is obvious, because sthita prajna yasya saha becomes sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. So how did the sthita become sthita? Okay, let's look at these two rules. So one thing we need is the before that, let me show the sutram, which is the anekamanya padarthe. It comes at the end of towards the end of 2.2. Both these padas are very short, by the way. These samasa vidhayaka sutrani, vidhayaka dve pade. These two padas are very short, because 2.1 has only 72 rules and 2.2 has only 38 rules. Total of only 108 rules. You can master compounds. So towards the end, try to make it a habit if you can. Is that any compound that you see, try to find one sutram from 2.1 or 2.2. That will give you the authority to form it. And if you practice, you'll get a hang of how it is structured. Okay, and here it says aneka manya padarthe is 2-24. Anya padarthe creates an adjective. Okay, let's start to see now how that arhana became arhanam. That sutram, I think, is in 1.2. Let's look at that sutram. It's a very common. In fact, that is a telltale sign. It's a bahuvrihi. As I mentioned to you, is that if the linga parivartanam asti chet, ayam bahuvrihi iti vaktum shakyate shigram. That if you see a change of gender in a compound at the end like that, then you can tell this is a bahuvrihi compound. So because it doesn't happen, that's only happened because it's a visheshanam, anyapada pradhanatvam, and therefore it become it will change its gender to match the gender of that anyapada. And in our case, it is the tapovanam. So because vanam is neuter, this is going to become neuter. Okay. Now the sutram that I am looking for is that actually there are two sutras here. Interestingly, both of them might apply to our case. Rasvo napumsake pratipadikasya is that in the neuter gender, the pratipadikam, it takes the end of the pratipadikam becomes short. That's why in the neuter gender we do not have any pratipadikam which ends in a long ach. Long means only ach, okay? Because rasa means achaha iti padhyahartum shakyate. It's possible to supply that achaha because the halam rasva dirgha bheda nasti. Halam uchcharanam api na sambhavati. You cannot even pronounce the house. So achsahayana uchcharyante halaha. So the house can only be pronounced with the help of the ach or the swaras. So this is swayam rajate iti swaraha. It can be pronounced on its own. Anyway, so rasva means the ending ach of a napumsaka pratipadikam has to become neuter. So there is no neuter pratipadikam in the entire language which ends in either long a, e, u, ru, any of them. They're not there. So the next sutram applies to all. So this can be used only for napumsake pratipadikam. It doesn't have to be bahuvri compound. Any napumsaka pratipadikam has to end in a short vowel. The second one is, that means if it's long, it will be made short. The next one says, go striyo upasarjanasya. What I say, so the word go, single word go, which mostly means, that has a few meanings, but main meaning is a cow. And striyoho, go striyo upasarjanasya. If it has upasarjana sanya, then that also becomes short. So that Raso Pratipadikasya comes down. So that 1 to 48, in fact, let's go to our Vritti, what the Vrittikara has to say. Just like we have to give the credit to the Tikakaraha, in Raghuvamsham, we have to give the credit to the Vrittikaraha in the Ashtadhyayi. So always give him the credit, because Vrittikara is the one who's made Ashtadhyayi accessible to us. And see, there's a Kashika in the Ashtadhyayi Kramena, Athva Siddhanta Kaumudi. We have to go in Siddhanta Kaumudi to get the Vritti. So let's see what the Vritti says. Because it says, Pratipadikasya iti vartate. Try to get the simple statements. In fact, a simple thing like this, Pratipadikasya iti vartate. Even if the simple statement, if you understand it, you got one part of Kashika you got. It may be a simple part, doesn't matter. Actually, it's simple. Okay, I think we start with simple things. So what is the Vrittikara trying to say? Pratipadikasya iti vartate. Means from the prior sutram, anuvritti is coming off Pratipadikasya. Okay. Then what he says, go iti sarupa grahanam. Means a single word go. Single word go. That one. And stri iti pratyagrahanam. So this stri means stri pratyantam, which it has. And then he says swaritatvad, because that's supposed to have a swarita swara on the Ashtadhyayi. Now let me also tell you one thing, that in the Ashtadhyayi in the old days, supposedly, there were swaras on the Ashtadhyayi sutras. In fact, Panini has a sutra which he says that swaritena adhikaraha, is that if you have this, is a swarita swara is there, then that tells you adhikara is starting with that. That's adhikara sutra. But sampratam na labhyate, swaraha na labhyante. In the today's day and world, I don't know of anybody who is, forget about chanting, but even who has the Ashtadhyayi, the proper swaras on it. I don't know, maybe somewhere somebody might be having, but it is very difficult. So you only asmakam kevalam vyakhyanam sharanam asmakam. So only the vyakhyanam is sharanam for us. We have to depend on the commentary only. There is nobody who chants Ashtadhyayi with the swaras. Nobody has Ashtadhyayi with the swaras that I know of. Again, there might be somebody somewhere, but I don't know of that. So when he says swaritatvat, means that on this three there is swara is there, because that means that it is a pratyagrahanam. That means it's three pratyayas. Anyway, we take his word for it. It is upasarjana grahanam tayor visheshanam. That is an adjective for that go shabda and the three pratyanta shabda. And then he gives a vritti. Gaur upasarjanasya, three pratyantasya upasarjanasya iti. So either the go has to be an upasarjana sanya it has to have, or three pratyantasya upasarjanasya iti. Then tabhyam pratipadikasya tadanta vidhi. So that is the pratipadikam ending in that, either the go shabda or the sti pratyaya. And then upasarjana go shabdantasya. So this is the final vritti is here now. This is on the preamble. He's telling you how he got the vritti. So up to this point, he gave the reasons how he got the vritti that he's going to give. So upasarjana go shabdantasya, upasarjana stri pratyantasya cha pratipadikasya raso bhavati. If you don't want to deal with any of these other details over here, up to here, don't worry. Just take this part only. Upasarjana go shabdantasya, upasarjana stri pratyantasya cha pratipadikasya raso bhavati. One more hint I'll give you. If any of you has Vasu's English translation of the Ashtadhyayi, in that the vritti that he gives, he'll give just a short vritti. So you can take that. Of course, the type is not very good in that book, but you can take that and underline these in your Kashika. So what you need is only this part. Only you need upasarjana go shabdan. In fact, these are meant to be memorized, by the way. Also, upasarjana go shabdantasya, upasarjana stri pratyantasya cha pratipadikasya raso bhavati. If you have pratipadikam, which has a go shabda at the end, or a stri pratyaya at the end, stri pratyanta shabda at the end, which has upasarjana sanya, then it becomes rasvaha. That ending becomes rasvaha. Now, of course, the next jidnyasa jayate. So, which is what is the upasarjanam? And that is also not, I think, too far away from here, is that samasa is prathama nidishtam samasa upasarjanam, that in a compound, in a sutra which authorizes that compound. Whatever is Prathama Nidishtam, that's Upasarjanam. So that's also coming in Ashtadhyayi a little bit before this. And this is the, Prathama Nidishtam, Samasa Upasarjanam. So Samase Upasarjanam is Sandhi going on here. So in the Samasa Vidayaka Sutram, Yat Padam Prathama Nidishtam. So that gets the Upasarjana Sanya. So which sutra are we using now? That's why it becomes critical to know which sutra did we use to form the compound. And that one I already told you is Anekam Anya Padarthe. Anekam. And that Anekam in the sutra is Prathama Nidishtam. Prathama Nidishtam. Now when you form a compound, you generally have the you have a supa. A sup with another sup put together. That's anurutti, which the adhikara which goes down in the entire Samaspakaranam. But here Pani says you can take many and club them together in Anya Padarthe, Anekam Anya Padarthe. That Anekam in that 2:24 is the Prathama Nidishtam. Let me give you another example because this may not be very clear. Let's take this sutra, this one, the Visheshanam Visheshena Bahulam. Okay, this is for forming Karmadharya compounds like Shura Purushaha, the Shura Visheshanam and the Visheshya Purushaha. So what does Sutram say? Visheshanam Visheshena Bahulam. You can take an adjective and compound that with the term that is qualifying, Visheshanam Visheshena, in many ways Bahulam. Of course, the Bahulam has some reason for that. Let's not worry about Bahulam for the time being. Now in this Sutram, what is the Prathama Nidishtam? Visheshena is Tritiya. Visheshanam is Prathama. So that Visheshanam will get the Upasarjana Sanya. And then Sutram comes Upasarjanam Purvam. Here 2:30 says Upasarjanam Purvam. The Upasarjana will go first. So that's why we say Shura Purushaha. We don't say Purusha Shuraha. Say Shura Purushaha. That's why adjectives go first in Karmadharya compounds. So Visheshanam Visheshana Bahulam. So Visheshanam Vitipatam Prathama Nidishtam. Tasya Upasarjana Sanya Jayate. Tat Paschad Upasarjanam Purvam iti Sutrena. It becomes the Purvapadam. So that's what this whole thought process works. But for us right now we talk Bahuvri compounds and it says the Anekam Anya Padarthe. So every pada is because Anekam, all of them are Upasarjana Sanya. So in Bahuvri compound, Sarvesham Padanam Prayena Upasarjana Sanya Bhavati. So in fact that's why Panini has specific rules in Bahuvri which one to put first. Because this Upasarjanam Puram will not help you in Bahuvri. Because of the fact if everything is Upasarjana Sanya, then what does it mean Upasarjanam Puram? Does it mean anything? So that's why then he has in Bahuvri how there's some rules over here. Anyway, the rule over there actually is the Saptami Visheshane Bahuvri how. Saptami Visheshane Bahuvri how is in the Bahuvri compound. That which is in Saptami or which is a Visheshanam, that goes prior. What do we have in our shloka right now? We have the Parikalpita Arhana Yasmin Tat. Parikalpita is qualifying the Arhana. Parikalpita went first, Arhana went next. So this one is the reason, that's the sutram why this one Parikalpita Arhana, that the Saptami Visheshane Bahuvri how. This adjective goes first. Okay, coming back to the topic. So every pada has the Upasarjana Sanya and Bahuvri as a general rule. So now let's come back to it. We are trying to make that Arhana into Arhanam, Arhana rather. And it says, Gostriyor Upasarjanasya. So we do have the word Arhana, which we added the top pratyaya, we already went through that. And now what's going to happen is going to become Marasvaha. Because of 1:248, that Arhana at the end becomes Arhana. Arhana. So Gostriyor Upasarjanasya. So in a Bahuvrihi compound, when you see that shortening coming at the end, you can come here and see why it became short, because any Stri Pratyanta when you have, that's going to become short at the end of a Bahuvrihi. So 1:248, 1:240, let me put this in the document, at least one sutram. So 1:248 will make the, okay, we'll do it like this, the Parikalpita. Parikalpita. Parikalpitar Hana. That went to Parikalpita Arhana because of the 1 to 48. Okay, that was one issue. The second issue we are talking about is, let me finish this one. So Parikalpita Arhana. So that is 1 to 48. Okay. So anytime you have a sti pratyanta at the end, you can get the rasva goes through your upasajanasya. In Bahuvri, everything upasajanasya, it becomes short. Second thing you talk about, this parikalpita has become parikalpita. Again, here you don't see it clearly, but if you look at the Gita, shloka, sita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sitadish kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. I think around I think the second chapter, around 50 something. So there we can see it more clearly, because here, because the sandhi has been eaten up in this shloka. So here it is. Sita prajnasya ka bhasha. So sita prajnasya saha. So in fact, here down here also, sita dhihi kim prabhasheta. Sita dhihi yasya saha becomes sita here also. So how it becomes short like that? Now this in Ashtadhyayi is a topic which is dealt with in 6.3. In 6.3, Panini covers all the rules, which what happens to the Purva Padam. Purva Padasya Karyani Nirdishyante. So because, how do we know that? Because Anuvritti of the Sutram Uttarapade runs throughout the 6.3. 6.3, Panini runs the Anuvritti of the Uttarapade. So when Uttarapada follows, what happens to the Purva Padam? It's very, like for example, Vishwamitra become Vishwamitra. So we had Vishwamitra become Vishwamitra. How did that happen, Vishwamitra? So all these kind of rules, when there's something going on in the Purva Padam, these can be found in 6.3. Now that is different from what we have at the end of 5.4. At the end of 5.4 is Samasantaha Pratyaya. In fact, we're going to see one of them a little bit later in the next shloka, which Samasanta Pratyaya, I think it's coming in the next shloka. So you can see next shloka, just to skip forward, he's quoting this 5, 4, 17, and that's at the end of the compound. We take, we say for Padma Nabhaha, Navi becomes Nabhaha. Then Kashi Rajascha Viryavan, Kim Kashi Rajaha. So those are at the end of the compound. Something is happening here. But that's 5.4, at the end of 5.4. It's also, I guess, a Paninian joke. He puts the Samasantaha at the end of the Tadita section. So at the end of Taditas comes Samasanta. The very last part of Taditas comes the Samasanta. But right now we don't need that. What we need is that what happens to the Purva Padam. So Uttarapade Sati. So Uttarapade Pare, you can say. So let's look at the 6.3, and because 6.3 starts with Aluguttarapade. Uttarapade starts from here, Aluguttarapade. And there is this long sutram, which let me go there. It's kind of strange, which won't go in detail. This one, 6.3.34. Striyaha Pumvad. Pumvad. So it becomes like masculine. This is slightly different. This is not Rasva. This is Pumvad Bhava. Pumvad Bhava becomes like the masculine equivalent. So at the end we did the Rasva. When we did the Arhana becoming Arhana, the Rasva Vidhanam. Rasva Vidhanam is making short. This is for the Purva Pada, we have to do the Pumvad Bhava. So Striyaha Pumvad, it becomes Pumvad. When does it become Pumvad? Bhashita Pumsakad. So if Bhashita Pumsaka means that same word can be used in the masculine in the same meaning. Of course, these are adjectives. So Parikalpita or Sthita are adjectives. Clearly, they can be used in the masculine in the same meaning. So Bhashita Pumsakad, Anung, leave the Anung for time being. The Pratyaya Ung, that should not be the Ung. Then Samanadhikarane. Samadhikarane. So that when you have the Samadhikarane, Striyam is qualifying something feminine. Striyam. And then there's something exclusion. Apurani Priyadishu. Okay. So this 6334 is in a Bahuvrihi compound. Why Bahuvrihi? Because Samanadhikarane. Samadhikarane could be a Karmadhari also. But the reason I'm not saying Karmadhari because there's another rule, 6342, which is a more powerful rule for Karmadharya compounds. Pumvat Karmadharya Jatiya Deshi Yeshu. So that's why I'm saying Bahuvri over here, because even though Samadhikarane could of course be Karmadharya compounds, but they have their own rule down in 6342, which is more powerful. So Karmadharya, we should not use the 6334, because that doesn't have some of these conditions which are here, so that we should go to 6342. So 42 will do everything which 34 will do. But of course 34 cannot be used for this 42 we can only be use 42 for Karmadharya compounds. So Bahuvris you have to use 34. It's a more complicated row. But the vritti will be like this, is that Bhashita Pumsakad Anungaha Stri Shabdasya Pum Shabdasya Iva Rupam Bhavati. In Pum Shabdasya Iva Rupam Bhavati, become like the masculine. Samadhikarane Uttarapade, when the Uttarapade Samadhikaranam. Now how Samadhikaranam do we have that? We do have that. Parikalpita Arhana Yasmintat. So Parikalpita is qualifying the Arhana. It is Samadhikaranam. Strilinge, that Uttarapada has to be Strilinga Shabda. So that Arhana was a feminine word. That's what Striyam is saying. And then there's some other conditions. So anyway, so 6334, the sutram that you use to make the Pumvat Bhavaha of the Purva Padam when it is in Samadhikaranam with a feminine word in a Bahuvri compound. So 6334, again we got eaten up by the Sandhi here. So but still it will be used 6334 and 6342 used for Karmadharya compounds. So the 6334, I'll just put it like this here, 6334 changes makes it into a masculine-like form. So of course Parikalpita will become masculine, Parikalpita will become masculine form, because Parikalpita will become feminine. Okay, Vasu has a question. Yes, Vasu. Vasu?
Satishji?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was going through one of your old this one recordings where you had discussed this Pumvat Bhavaha.
Pumvat Bhavaha, yes.
Yeah, earlier. This I hope I'm not sidetracking it here.
Okay.
I was stuck on some other reading here. Sarvanamno Vrittimatre Pumvat Bhavaha 5328.
Yes.
Yeah. There I could not understand two things there. One is Sarvanamnaha. Two is Vritti Matre means Anuvritti or just Bhashya?
No, Vrittis. What, there are 5 kind of Vrittis are there. Okay, the Sarvanamna means of a pronoun word. Word is a pronoun,
Okay.
It's a pronoun word. And Vrittis are, if you look at Abhyankara dictionary, let's look at vritti, what he says. See, that vritti is not it's kind of a derived formation, you can say vritti, Vritti is a derived formation. And
I was guessing whether it means only in the interpretation, in the Vrittikara interpretation, or
no. No, vrittis are, this is the Klut Tadhyata Samasa Ekadesha Dhatu Rupa Panchavrittayaha. So, and Vritti Arthava Bodhakam Vakyam Vigraha, Siddhanta Kaumudi says. So what Siddhanta Kaumudi says is that these are all the Vrittis, which is when you take a Dhatu from a Kudanta form from it, or if you take a Prajapadikam from a Tadhyatanta from that, or you take different padas and make a Samasa out of that, and or there's also an Ekadesha Samasa, a special kind of compound, or so all these are going to be the and all if you form derived verbs also you can form. These are all the vrittis, So Prit Tadhyata Samasa Ekadesha Dhatu Rupa Panchavrittayaha. These are 5 vrittis, and the vritti arthava bodhakam vakyam vigraha. And the vigraha vakyam is which explains the what vritti has occurred. So it's some kind of a amalgamation or some kind of a derivation has occurred there. Vrittis. So that you take a simple form and you tack on something to it, combine it in some way to form a derived form. So vritti is a technical term there. And in the if you have a sarvanama shabda there, in the samasa is one kind of vritti there. So if you have in the sarvanama shabda goes in the vritti, then in this case pumvat bhava is vritti matre. You have to allow. So when the sarvanama shabda goes in the vritti in a samasa, it becomes pumvat bhava immediately. It becomes. You don't have to look at any of the rules to form the Pumvad Bhava for that.
Related to that, there was another sutra mentioned 6.3.34.
Okay, let's look at that. That's what we are taking right now.
Okay.
That's one we are taking right now. I think this one which you have given is I think the Vartikam on this might be this Sarvanam Napum. This might be some Tika or Vartikam on the same sutra. So that one we're just taking right now is the Priyaha Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanu. So that is what we're taking right now. So
that's why I thought it was connected somehow.
It's connected. So what that sutram is saying is that, that statement is saying is that's not a sutram, by the way. It may be like a Vartikam. So it's saying that if you have a Sarvanam, we don't have, because right now we have the word Parikalpita. That's not a pronoun. But if you had a pronoun, then we don't have to look at, as long as it's going into a compound, that is going to take Pumvad Bhava. Pumvad Bhava is going to happen to us. We don't have to look at this, go into any detail like that. So that's what that statement is saying. So maybe we'll find an example somewhere. We can look at it, So for example, you can say tat pustakam, tasyaha pustakam, tat pustakam. So saying that maybe that's a bad example, because then you don't have to make it into feminine, undo the feminine and this and that. You don't have to do any of that, because it's going into vritti is forming, so it's going to become masculine like Pumvad Bhava. These pronouns go ahead.
Like shabdam like dakshina paschat puratasya kind of thing. That's the
example which they give.
That is just like southwest direction or.
Yeah, so that's but you need a Sarvanama Shabda, but otherwise, so when Sarvanama Shabda are defined only in 1.127. So only if it's one of those, only then you can use that statement. And there are only about 35 of them, So unless it's not one of those, then you cannot use that, So the 1.127 is Sarvadini Sarvanamani comes in 1.127. Sarvadini Sarvanamani.
It's just like the Dakshina Purvaha is one example, I think.
Yes. So if because the Purva, Paravara, Dakshina, Uttara, these are all Sarvanama Shabdas, So then in that case, that Dakshina Pura become Dakshina, not become Dakshina.
Dakshina,
Because it's Sarvanama Shabda, went to Vritti, it become Pumvad Bhava automatically. So anything that those 35 don't mention 1.127, they become like that, They become masculine like.
Thank you.
So but this one, thank you. So this one we're using is for Parikalpita. We don't have Sarvanama Shabda, which connected concept, Pumvad Bhava, it become like something which is masculine. So the Parikalpita becomes Parikalpita again because of Sandhi. We didn't notice that Parikalpita Arhanam. Okay. Anyway, so that's some grammar for you on this. So the important thing I wanted to tell you was how this became the Rasva over here. That was because of Gostriyor Upasarjanasya. And then again the Pumvad Bhava in the Purapadam is that because of 6.3.34, that long sutram. Okay. So the next one that he takes is the Baddha. And the whole thing is declined like Vanam now, Tapo Vanam. So because it's Dvitya Ekavachanam, it's qualifying the Vanam. Next one is Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dhrumam. Okay. The Baddha means like bound or constructed. Pallava is like the tender shoots. Puta is like the hollow. The hollow which is made, Puta is the hollow. And Anjali is folded hands. And Dhruma is a tree. Dhruma is a tree. If you're interested in the word Dhruma also, if you can believe it or not, it's actually a Matup Parthiya Pratyaha, which is the Mo, the Pratyaya Mo over there. This Pani has one sutram where you can form the word Dhruma. Now this Dhruma, just quickly give you that sutram. In 5.2, at the end of 5.2 is the Matup Prakaranam, and we start from 5 to 94. Tadasya asti asminiti Matup. Tadasya asti asminiti Matup. So, and in that, Panini has one sutram that the word Dhru can take this pratyaya ma to form this special word, which means a tree. So, Dhru is like Dhru is something to like Dravati, which like flows or expands, So, these are the branches of the wood, which like kind of spread out. So, Dhru is like the wood or the branch. And that which has branches is the tree. So this is how this language expands, So they take all these words and all this, because it's interesting to see how these pratyas have been added in what meaning. So from 5 to 94 starts tadasyasti asminniti matu. Matu is the default pratyaya which can be used in the sense of one who has that, or in that can be found. And there is the pratyaya which is the ma. Here it is. Dyu dru bhyam maha. So for the word dyu and dru, you can use the pratyaya ma. So drumaha. So that which has dru is drumaha. One which has branches is drumaha. So interesting, just kind of tidbit for you. So the 5 to 108 can be used to form drumaha. Druma is formed from 5 to 108. Druma. 5 to 108. Okay, let's stay on the compound, but this is just on the side. But let's see how he deals with the compound, and let's see what Vigrahavakyam is given. Is Baddhaha Pallava Putaha. Now Pallava Putaha, no commentary, means that's of course will be something straightforward for us. So Pallavanam Putaha. Generally when you have a Shashti Tatpurusha compound, many times there will be no Spashtikaranam, because it is, it is already Spashtam. So Pallavanam Putaha. And so Baddhaha Pallavanam Putaha. So that is in fact here you can see the, well maybe not, but this is what adjective noun compound. So that is a Karmadharya compound. Baddhaha Pallava Putaha. You can clearly see the Samajikaranam there, can't you? Because Baddhaha Pallava Putaha, Baddhaha is qualifying Pallava Putaha. So it's and Pallavanam Putaha is Shashti Tatpurusha compound. So far kind of straightforward. So far straightforward. Remember the Karmadhara is a subset of Tatpurusha compounds. Okay. So then what we can also, as we said, try to collapse the brackets. Pallava Putaha when we do, then since that is a Shashti Tatpurusha, we can leave our Pallava is accounted for already. Then we do Baddhaha Putaha, Baddha also accounted for. Then Putaha only we can make it then. That's why I keep on kind of simplifying the compound. So Dhatu Baddhaha. Okay, let's get some class participation here. Dhatu is Bandh. And now the Pratyaya is also the Nishtha Pratyaya, Taktavatu Nishtha. Remember the Kta and the Tavatu are both Nishtha. So even though we say past participle, the Kta Pratyaya is much more common than the Ktavatu Pratyaya. So you might tend to think that Kta only is Nishtha. But that's not the case. It is Taktavatu Nishtha. Pani defines it. And then, so here we have the Pratyakta. Now this Pratyakta, Anubandha Lope, Lashakvatadite, the Ka is in it. The Ta remains. Only the Ta, the Takara and Akara remains. It's a Valadi Pratyaya. Pratyaya has Ardhadhatuka Sanya. The thing is Ardhatukam Sheshaha. So it can take an Idagamaha. But then in the list of the Karika under 7 to 10, we check the Anit and Set Dhatus. So there in the Dhanteshu, Krudha, Kshudha, Budhya, Bandha. So Bandha is a Dhatu which is Anit Dhatu in Dhatu Padha. Because of the Ekach Upadesha Anudatta. It says Anudatta Swara on it. It is Anit Dhatu. So we have Bandha plus Ta. And I'm hoping somebody in the class can give me these sutras for some practice to get from Bandha plus Ta up to the word Baddha. So that's what is getting. Anybody wants to volunteer? I think Ushaji should know some of this. I think even Anuji should know this. Okay. Okay. What do we need now? We need to get from Bandh. I'm sorry. Get from Bandh plus the Pratyata, and we want to get to Baddha. The Nakara has to go by one sutram. Then the next sutram we change the Takara into a Dhakara. And finally, that prior Dhakara will become Dakara. Let me see. Anuji should will do this for us. Let me try it. You want to try this?
Oh, Satiji, let me try. The Nakara will drop by Aniditam Hal.
Yes, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So, Aniditam Halupodaya Kiniti. Aniditam Halupodaya Kiniti. So, this is 6-4-24. Very easy to remember because 6 times 4 gives 24, right? You gotta have some tricks to remember the sutra numbers. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6, 4, 24. Anujitam. So if your dhatu is in dhatu patha, does not have E as an it. Why do we need that? Because I think Raja has covered in earlier class today. The dhatu has E as an it takes a num agama. This nakara in bandh should not be coming because dhatu is badhi in dhatu patha. Dhatu patha dhatu was badhi. That will bring a num agama, but idito num dhatoho. So this 7158 says idito num dhatoho. If a dhatu has short E as an it, takes a num agamaha. Then the question might come that why bother to put this sutram, 7158? Why not put the num agama directly there already in sutram itself? Why we want to put, say, dhatu has E as an it, and then put the num agama? Why not just change the dhatu and put the num agama directly there already? Reason for that is that num which comes by 7158 will not be subject to the 6424. Because 6424 says that aniditam, that so Panini takes out those places which does not want the nakara to be subject to 6424. In those places he puts the E as an it in the dhatu and does a num agama for that. The remaining places dhatu bandh, dhatu in dhatu patha is bandh itself, so the nakara is there in dhatu patha. It's not coming from E as an it. Dhatu was not badhi to make it bandh as a num agama. So that's why anijitam. So we qualify for that. Halaha upadhayaha should be an upadha to the hal, penultimate. So prior to the hal should be that. Now, what should be prior to that? Anuvritti is coming of na lopaha. Anuvritti of na, nakara lopaha. So that there should be a nakara prior to a hal. So it should be basically a conjunct. Dhatu should end in a hal. Should be a nakara prior to that. Then, so which we do have, because we have bandh. So we do have the upadha nakaraha. We do have the halopadhayaha. And this was not dhatu with E as an it. Everything is satisfied. And kiniti. But if it be kit or nit pratyaha, which we have because we had the pratyakta, which is the, of course, lashakvatadite was in it. So that is going to give us, I want to practice these rules because, I think the more we can, one thing that I can contribute to the class is to give you the Ashtadhyayi flavor. Because otherwise I could just go to the shloka and say, okay, bandha means bound, and da-da-da, and we are done. But the more that you can point to Ashtadhyayi, it will really give you a firm grounding of this language, I know many of us just want to move on, just take the meaning and be done with it. We can do that, that's okay. But if you really want to know Vyakaranam, then you have to go to the Ashtadhyayi and know how it is done. The more Ashtadhyayi you know, and as I say, if you don't understand some things, leave them. It's okay, we'll come back to it. Yes, Vasu.
Sadeshji, this is incidentally is a repetition for the day. Rajaji started with Vad and became Vand.
Yes.
And he talked about how num agama comes in.
So you're talking about with or vad? Which one are you talking about? With?
Vad.
Vad.
Vad becomes Vanda, I think. Unless I was mistaken, I misread it. It was Bad.
So what? Which gana are you talking about?
He started with the when he was explaining the dhatu.
Okay. So the dhatu in which you're talking about dakara, vad?
Yeah, vad as a root, vadhi actually.
Okay, vadhi. There's the root called vadhi. Okay.
Vadhi,
normally vad means vadati. That's this must be different.
No, vadhi,
okay, you're right.
Vadhi.
There is a vadhi root. Yes.
So instantly it's a repetition and reinforcement.
Yes, correct. Vadhi, exactly. Very good. So vandati. It's one that should salute. Abhivadana. Exactly. Good. Correct. So that is the dhatu which has E as an it, right? In fact, let's complete that form. Let's complete. This is a good example also, because if you make vandita, as you said, vandita. In that case, let's check that out, because what in vandita, what we have, like nindita, same thing by nindita. It's same thing with nind, by the way, nind. That is nidhi in dhatu patha. That also has E as an it. That num kama agama, but the nakara over there. So both in vadi and in nidhi, you're going to get the num agama. So that will not become subject to 6424. It become vandita, not vadita. So that nakara will not drop, even though everything else is satisfied.
And the same token, the it, like ik, it, and M numagama. Also like in the anta.
Yeah, so you have to first check dhatu part and see whether the nakara is there in the dhatu itself, or is it coming through numagama process?
I think he said that when the ite, all these its will bring in the num.
No, only the short e as an it brings to numagama. Others will not.
Okay.
Only the short e as an it brings to numagama, like vadi and nidhi. The ending e is an it. The upadesh ajana nasika it, and in those cases only numagama will come, and they will not drop by 6424. Okay, so become vandita, nindita like that. Okay, Thank you. So that's good connection. So now baddha, we just complete this form baddha which we started off. So 6424 we used to drop that the nakara upada nakarasya lopaha. So upada bhutasya nakarasya lopaha, so become Bad and Ta, and now we finish the Sapa Saptadhyay Karyam. Let's go to the 6424 we have used. Let me bring Anuji back on the line. The next three, I think sutras that she should know. I know she knows them. So let me just get her on the line. Yes, Anuji, finish this for us?
I hope so. Would it be Jashatador
Dhotaha? Jashatador Dhotaha. So 8 to 40. 8 to 40 will now help us to make this into Bad plus Dha. And then finally what do we do?
Jalam Jashi.
Jalam Jashi. 8 to I think 53, right?
84.
84, I'm sorry. Yes, got me there. 84. So Bad plus Dha. Okay, let's look at these. So become Baddha. This is a very, very, very common sequence, like a word like Buddhi, Siddhi, all these, come with the same. This last two sequence is very common sequence, which is you have the, when you have, okay, so that one is 8453. Now 8240 says what? Jashas tathor dhodhaha. So if you have a Jash letter preceding, which is what? The Dhakara. Jash means what? Javai Garadash. So in number 4 letter, and following by takara or takara. So this was the Jash letter, followed by the takara, Jashaha, tathoho, with takara or takara. That becomes into a dhakara. So this ta goes to become a dha, Jashas tathor dhodhaha, but not for the dhatu dha, which we don't have dhatu dha right now, so we don't have to worry about it. And then jalam jash jashi. So jalam jash jashi. So if you have in Jalam, Jal letter, this is this Dha, followed by the Jash, which is the column number 3 or 4, because Javai Garadash, Jaba Garadash. So column 3, this is column 4 letter. So it could be a column 3 or column 4 letter. Then this Jal becomes into Jash. Jash means number 3. It goes to Baddha. So if you have a Jal, followed by either a Varganam Titiya Varnaha Athva Chaturtha Varnaha, then Jal Sthane Jash Adesha Bhavati. It becomes Titiya Varna. That's the Sutram, that is 8453, and we have to finish this. That's what we have to always be careful to follow the right sequence. To do the Sapa Saptadhyay Karyam first, then go to Tripadi, and then there also you have to go step by step and go take the earlier rule first and then go later rules. So this is the Jalam, Jash, Jashi. Okay, so we got the form Baddha. So let's finish this compound. So Baddhaha, Pallavanam, Putaha, Pallava. Now so we can forget the word Baddha and Pallava. We can just see with Putaha. Putaha eva Anjalayaha. So this is a kind of a Karmadharya compound. This is where we talked about the Bahulam, right? Vishesham, Visheshena, Bahulam. So this is what's called the Avadharana Purvapadam. Means that it is for emphasis that the Anjali, which is the folded hands, were the hollows of these leaves themselves. So like this is like the Ajnana Shrinkhala. Ajnanam eva Shrinkhala. So this ignorance is his bondage, is the shackle. Ajnanamrutam. So knowledge is the nectar. Knowledge itself is the nectar. So Jnanamrutam. So these are, like that. So Okay, in this case it's important. Remember, there's still Uttara Pradhana. So when you say Jnanamrutam, you can say Jnanamrutam Pibati, not Jnanamrutam Janati. Because it will now, Amrutam has become the Pradhanatvam, has Pradhanatvam. So you say Jnanamrutam Pibati. He drinks the Amrutam in the form of knowledge. You can say in the form of. So these were these folded hands in the form of the hollows of these tender leaves, which are kind of Baddha means they were constructed like that, kind of folded up like that. Baddha doesn't mean bound here. I think it's folded, So yaihi te. So tatha bhutaha drumaha. So these yes means tat. We got double bahuvri going on here. Double bahuvri. So this entire thing, this baddhaha pallava putaha eva anjalayaha yaihi te drumaha. So that's qualifying drumaha only up to now. So baddha pallava putanjalayaha drumaha. So far we accounted for the compound baddha pallava putanjalayaha is qualifying drumaha. So they were those trees by whom these folded hands were constructed in the form of the hollows of their tender leaves. So, but now we have to connect with the vanam now. The whole qualifying is now going to qualify tapovanam. That's the next step. And then the next step is, as Malinath has done for us here, is the Baddhava Pallava Putanjali Drumaha Yasmin Stat. It was that vanam in which there were these trees, and the trees which had, as if had these folded hands constructed in the form of the hollows of the tender leaves. With double bahuvrihi is the first one is qualifying drumaha, and the second one is qualifying vanam. Because we have two sets of yattat, yaihi te drumaha yasmin sat vanam. Tatoktam, which is an adjective. So it was of that kind. This vanam was of that kind. It was like that. So that's a double bahuvrihi. And the last one we have here we don't need to make any short because drama was already ending in short. See, last time we had to make the arhana into arhanam because of the one more thing is that's fine. We had to make arhana into arhanam because there was a feminine form. We had to make it, rasvaha and all that. But this one is only drama is not a feminine form. Even though it's qualifying vanam, it has changed its gender. Vanam is neuter. Drama is, I think, masculine. Drama, it is masculine. So, but it is not obviously seen because there was no like making short, anything that happened. Even though drama, that the compound has now become neuter, it is not very obvious because Dvitiya of drama also is dramam only, and vana is vanam only. So it is not it's not obvious at the first glance. This has to be bahuvri. In the case of the kalpita arhanam, we could say because it had become short. Anyway, still the bottom line is it has changed from masculine to becoming neuter because the annapada pradhanatvam is qualifying vanam now. And then the last one he takes up is darshanon mukha mrgam. So how does he deal with that? Darshanena means what? Tritiya tatpurushaha. Darshanena unmukhaha is, so darshana unmukha is qualifying mrgaha. Unmukha is also is itself is a compound, unmukha. In fact, if you look at, actually I think Apte gives the unmukha. I think it says the ud equals urdhva mukham yasya. So one whose face is turned kind of upwards or towards in a receptive manner. Unmukha means to be receptive or to be not excited but to be anxious, eager, or eager or receptive or something. Like parangmukha. Parangmukha means to be turned away. Unmukha and parangmukha. So that is the two terms that are used. Unmukha means to be turned towards or to be anxious or to be receptive or to be eager. That's unmukha. So ud equals urdhvam mukham yasya. That itself is a bahuvrihi. So unmukha is a bahuvrihi. And then which of course Muniyatha does not explain, that one we should know how to do on our own. So that's a common word. And then because mukham was a neuter noun, mukham mukhe mukhani. So the fact that it became unmukhaha mrgaha, that also tells you it has to be bahuvrihi compound, doesn't it? How did mukham become mukhaha? So linga parivartanam drishyate. That is has to be Bahuvrihi. So Unmukhaha Mrugaha Yasmin Stat. Now and then he tacks on one another thing, which is Darshanena. Is Munehe Darshanena. So Darshanena Unmukhaha Mrugaha. Darshanena Unmukha is a Titiya Tatpurushaha, and also that you can collapse that bracket by removing Darshanena. Once you form the compound, it has Uttara Pradhanatvam. So we don't need Darshanena when it comes to the final Bahuvrihi. So we can just say Unmukhaha Mrugaha Yasmin Stat. The Darshanena only tacks on to the Unmukha. So what is the meaning? It was that Tapovanam in which the deer were eager or anxious or receptive. They become anxious because they had become kind of excited by the sight of the Muni. The sight of the Muni, they had become, their faces were turned up, so to speak. Okay, so that completes all his Bahuvri. Finally, he says Atmanaha means Swasya, his own. But this Atman has various meanings. Be careful. Atman can, of course, mean Jivatma, Paramatma. It can also mean like Shariram. It can also mean like Swasya, Nija. So Nija Tapavanam. Nija Tapavanam means his own, one's own. So Atmanaha means one's own, his own. His means his. So Atmanaha means his own, his own. In English we say his own. His own Atmanaha is a Shashti Ekavachanam of Atman Pradipadikam Atmanaha. Tapovanam, no commentary. You can probably make it like Tapase Vanam. It is a Vanam for doing tapas, Tapovanam. Asasada, we already talked about that, means he Praptavan. He reached, approached. So Upagatavan. So then what is so this completes the meaning of the shloka. Now Mulinatha gives a comment. This is his own comment now. This is not a vritti of any of the he's finished the shloka here. Now he's explaining why this is the Visheshana Grahanam Kasmakritam, is why this Kalidasa has introduced these kind of adjectives for Tapovanam. So he says Etena Visheshana Trayena. So Etena, as I said to you in the commentary, we should be able to easily do Padacheda and figure it out on our own. Because commentary will not use any convoluted terms. It's in prose order. So commentary is in prose order. So you don't have to scratch your brain too much to do Padanvaya. Anvaya already is there. So read the commentaries. I can tell you again and again, please read the commentaries and appreciate them. So Etena Visheshana Trayena, by this group of three adjectives. He says Atithi Satkara Tachilya Vinaya Shantayaha Suchitaha. Suchita means suggested. Suchita means to suggest. What has been suggested here is these three things. Atithi Satkara Tachilya. Atithi is one who comes without tithi. Tithi is like an appointment. So Atithi is like a guest who comes without an appointment is Atithi. So Atithi Satkara Tachilya. So the Atithi Satkara means that honoring, respecting a guest who has come without you calling him, he has come. So Atithi Satkara, and he has come without any appointment. Then in the old days, people used to travel long distances, so they used to stay over and come with Atithi. So Atithi was a very common thing in the old days. Atithi Satkara Tachilya means that is nature. The nature of that, it was natural. To have the nature of respecting Atithis. And that's why the first one, which is what the Shishya Varga Parikalpitarhanam. The Shishya had already made ready. Atithi means a guest was coming up with, I guess he had come kind of unannounced, even though it was his own Tapovanam, but he had come without an appointment. So he came there. And they respected him, and they, brought the puja samagri for him to do the sammanam for him. That's one thing. Then Vinaya. Vinaya is what the Baddha Pallava Putanjali Dhrumam is. The trees were very humble. Is that they saw the Muni coming, so they folded their hands, even though they had no hands to fold. In the form of their leaves, they show the respect for the Muni. That's Vinaya. Then Shantayaha. is that these deer were not running away from the Muni. They were very happy, and they were in fact kind of moving towards him to greet him, to look at him. So that's also Suchita. So this is Malilatha's commentary on the shloka, is why these adjectives have been used. Okay, now who wants to do the honors for us? Wayne, are you there by any chance? Wayne must be there. He's recording, right? Wayne, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, Wayne, let's let us put you on the job here. Adhikrita Anuvad Karaha. So he's an authorized translator. Okay, Adhikrita Anuvad Karaha. Okay, now, then, what do you want to use for then?
Tataha.
Tataha, the sage.
Munihi.
Reached.
Asasada.
Asasada. Asasada. By the way, A is upasarga, A is not. So A is not in the paradis, so it has to be asasada.
Actually opposite, right?
And not only that, the tinganda padam na samasyate. Not going to compound, because, well, even though Kashika gives some of their examples, but for the purpose of this class, the tingandam padam cannot go into a compound. Remember that, please. You cannot say ham agachami, I'm not going. So this cannot do that. So asasada would not have been really possible. Asasada.
Asasada.
Then his own.
Atmanaha.
Atmanaha. Then hermitage. Tapovanam. Okay, now comes the Bahuvris.
Yeah.
Where his numerous pupils, Shishyavarga, were ready with welcome offerings.
Parikalpita.
Parikalpita is ready. Technically, it should be where his pupils, where his class, where his group of students had prepared the welcome offerings. So
they were not ready. Actually, the offerings were ready.
Offerings were ready, made ready by his pupils. It was the vanam in which the group of students had made ready, the offerings were made ready by them. Okay, the welcome offerings is the
Arhana.
The Arhana, which is there, which you saw, and then the ready is the Parikalpita. Okay, next one is where the trees. See, by the way, where is he getting the where? Because look at
that
the commentary.
Tasmin.
You can see Yasmin Tat, Yasmin Tat. You got three of them. See, Yasmin Tat, Yasmin Tat, Yasmin Tat. So that's how the commentator, I mean the Anuvadakara is getting the all this where. Okay. So where, that's the Bahuvari compound. So where the trees, what are the trees?
Trees are Druma.
Druma. The folded.
Folded puta.
I would say Baddha maybe.
Baddha.
Their foliage. I think that is the Pallava Putta.
Foliage is...
Actually, he has not given really the Putta. Putta really is a hollow. Pallava is a tender shoot. So I think Pallava Putta, I think we have to take
Pallava could be foliage.
But then Putta is a hollow, it's not there. I think hand is probably Anjali.
Yes.
So this is kind of summarized,
Yeah, it's not quite
not exactly word for word, I think. Not coming out word for word. So anyway, what we should make it is where the trees, had folded, that Baddha is kind of folded. They are the hollows of the tender
in the
shoot,
shape of
in the form of folded hands, something like that would be probably. Anjali itself means folded hands. Okay, and where is again Bahuvri? The deer is?
Deer is Mriga.
Mriga. Looked up.
Looked up Unmukha.
Unmukha, to greet him.
Darshana.
Darshana, almost Darshanaya he has made it. Almost Darshanaya. So they were eager to greet him. Okay, but Mulya said Darshanena.
This Bahuri, when it's Saptami and then becomes a Bahuri, it sounds kind of strange,
Which one is this? Yasmin Tat, right? Yeah. Yasmin Tat. Yeah, that's less common.
Very strange.
Less common? No, not that strange. What you say is kind of obvious. What else can it be,
Because like Unmukha Mrigam, so you would think it's a deer, but actually the Mrigam really refers to the Vanam.
Like, the Vanam in which there are, but look at the context, right? I mean, because the Muni didn't approach the deer. The Muni approached the Vanam, so it would be, then you have like two objects, He approached the deer and approached the Vanam, which should not make sense from the context, You're right, this could have been the deer itself, but, it could easily have, there's nothing stopping that, by the way. Could easily have been Darshanonmukha Mrugam as a deer who is eager to see, or by the sight. So it could have been. There's nothing stopping that to make it. So only the context only will tell you what it is.
Yeah.
There are two questions. Let's take Pushpaji as a question. Namaste, Pushpaji. Pushpaji. Is your mic working, Pushpaji? I have unmuted you. Okay, maybe you can type your question because we cannot hear you. Okay.
Myself?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You are unmuted. Yes. Okay. Satish, all the three compounds I have declined as neuter, accusative, singular.
Yes, that is correct, Pushpaji. Yes, correct.
And in the translation, they say trees and pupils. So.
But he says where, because his hermitage where.
Where? Okay.
So this is all qualifying the hermitage only.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So that's how you can. Your declaration is correct, but the hermitage in which. So still the hermitage is the main. Is the Pradhana Padam.
So all of this relates to Tapovanam.
Tapovanam. So it has to be neutral, accurate, singular only. It's correct.
Right. Okay. So thanks.
There is just the Bahubri. Okay. Thank you. And then Vasu has also a comment. Yes, Vasu.
Originally I wanted to participate for translation. That's how the hand was raised.
Okay. All right. Okay. I will give you next time, Vasu.
However, Satishji.
Yes.
On the Mallinatha's commentary, I think we are focusing on grammar, but the thing though his explanation here, which we were talking about the Arthalankara.
Yes, that is quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, very beautiful. And I had a question on that, if you can show that. Visheshana Trayanati. Trayena.
Atiti Satkara Tachilya.
That Tachilyam is that
Tat Shila means that nature. So Tachilyam.
Shila.
That is
Shila.
Habitual. Habitual, respect for Atithis. The Tachilya is like someone which is habitual, means it is not once in a while. That's natural to them, They do it all the time.
And Asasada is the same as Upayivan kind of thing?
Upayivan is very close, very close. Because that's Upa-I, plus Sad. Meaning-wise, they're very close, very close. Okay. Upayivan, of course, would have been a Kudanta form. This is a Tinganta form, Asasada. Upayivan is a Subanta Padam. Asasada is a Tingantam Padam. Yeah, but the meaning-wise, they'll come out to the same thing. So, Upa plus E and A plus Sad. Okay, thank you. So now the next shloka it says, Tatra Dikshitam Rishim Rarakshatur Vignato Dashrathatmajau Sharaihi Lokam Mandatamasat Kramoditau Rashmibhi Shashi Divakara Viva. Of course, you see the Kalidasa trademark, the Iva. That's all called Yatha and Iva. That is the Kalidasa style, right? Upama Kalidasa. Yes. Almost every other shloka you have to see that thing coming. That's the way he composes. So almost any situation he has Upama. Tatra Dikshitam Risham Rarakshatur Vignato Dashrathatmajau Sharaihi Lokam Mandatamasat Kramoditau Rashmibhish Shashi Divakara Viva. The whole second line is Upama. Okay, and of course the Tingantam Padam connects both ways. Ubhayatra Sambadhyase. Simple sentence is Dasharathatmajau Rarakshatuhu. Dasharat, very simple compound. If you look at the commentary of Mallinatha, therefore let's follow Mallinatha. Let's appreciate the Padanvayaha. Tatra comes on top. Tatra is Saptami. Because when you say subject, object, verb, the other thing you have to connect to that. The Shashti Padam, it will connect to one other noun or adjective. It will tack on to it. If it's a Saptami or Panchami, you want to put it maybe in the beginning, depending on where it's kind of falling in place. So Tatra Tapovane, in that Tapovanam, Dasharatha Atmajau, no commentary. No commentary, because Atmaja is a very simple, not very simple, very well-known compound. It is a Upapada Samasaha. So Atmanaha Jayate iti Atmajaha, born from oneself. Means in this case means simply his offspring. Means Dasharatha Putrau, Rajakumarau equals Rama Lakshmanau. He has not given any of that because it is very, very obvious. I mean, nobody else it can be. Even though Dasharatha had 4 sons, the others are not here right now. So it has to be Rama Lakshmanau. So Dasharatha Atmajau, Rama Lakshmanau, no commentary. I do want to point out to you the Upada Samasa, but Upada Samasa is the Atmanaha Jayate iti Atmajaha. And so the Pratyaya Dhatu is Jan. Dhatu is Jan. Can somebody in the class tell me that what it letter are you expecting in the Pratyaya? Somebody in the class can tell me, please, that in order for Jan to become Ja, what it letter, it apekshate atra, which it letter is expected here? Okay, I'll make it easier for you. We need the T lopa. We need to make a T lopa over here. That dhatu jan, you remove the un of the dhatu jan. So you want some it letter which will allow us to do the T lopa. Can anybody tell me that by any chance? Okay. What we need is that the sutra is called Tehe. Tehe. So we remember this is a lesson for you for today. Is when you see a T lopa being done by some Pratyaha, generally the one which you're going to do is have the da as an it. The number 3 letter of the ta varga, dakara. That da as an it will do a T lopa. Because the da as an it generally has anyat prayojanam na sambhavati. T lopartham dakara grahanam. It rupena dakara grahanam. So this da as an it, when you see the da as an it is going to do the T lopa. So in the pratyaya, if you see the da as an it, is actually one. So there is no other. Generally, there is no other use for da as an it except the T lopa of the angam. And at the, as I mentioned to you again, repeating a few times, is in the beginning of 3.2, about 100 sutras, come many of the description of the upapadas. So which upapadas are qualified to compound with which dhatus, with which pratyaya to form the upapada samasaha. The samasa vidaka sutra was in 2.2, upapadam a thing. Then we come to this third adhyaya, we've been through many times now, where Panini starts the adhikara is tatropadam saptamistham, tatropapadam saptamistham. So in this tritiya dhatu adhikare, anything which is in the saptamistham, indicated by the saptami, that will be the upapadam. And many of them are contained in this 3 to 1 to 3 to 100. And towards the end of that, antabhage, antima bhage, there comes this sutram, saptam yam janer daha, pancham yama jatau. So when this upapada is in the saptami, or if it's panchami and not a jati vachak shabda, then this jan dhatu can take the pratyaya da. So what is the dhatu is for single dhatu jan, take the pratyaya da. If there is upapada which is in the saptami arthe or panchami arthe, I think we can take panchami arthe for us, atmanaha jayate iti atmajaha, one who is born from yourself. Now the so what will we have without putting in the, well, we have atman plus we'll have the panchami nyasi plus jan plus da. If you look at the alaukika vigraha vakyam we already mentioned, atmanaha jayate iti atmajaha. If you want to look at, because these things the Mulinatha is now going to give you, okay, because he expects you to know all of this. There's no commentary here at all. But these things we are supposed to, that's why I'm spending some time to just give you some filling up, which Mulinatha will not give you, because we are supposed to know this. And so those are the ones I'm trying to help you a little bit. So Atma, Atman plus Panchami. I think Panchami should be fine, which is Nyasi. Okay, I'm sorry. Atmanaha, and then Dhatu Jan, and then you add the Pratyaya Da. Pratyaya Da. Of course, Da, in the Da you can do Chutu, because Pratyayadi, Chavarga, Tavarga, Itsyat. So make it A. And then the sutra, so this one that we have used, if let's see what example Kashika gives. This is it's an easy one to remember. It comes at the end of that, from 321 to 32100. The very last, I think 3-4 sutras for this Dhatu Jan, the Pratyaya Da. So, and it says Buddhi Jaha. So it says born from the mind. Dukkha Jaha, born out of sorrow. So I think we can use this one also. Atmanaha Jayate should be fine. So we get that, and then so that sutram we are using is Panchamyama Jatau 3298. This sutram is actually not in the Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, but Shastriji has it in volume number 3, page 82. 3298 is the sutram, and then the sutram Tehe. Sutram Tehe, which you have seen before, comes in the actually in the Bhasya Adhikara. In 64143. Why are we going to Bhasya Adhikara? Because the Angam cannot have Bhasanya right now. Because what is the Bhasanya? Yachibham. And Anuvritti of Swadishva Sarvanamasthane. Swadishu Sarvanamasthane. Swadishu start from where? From 412. So just out. So Swadi means from 412 to end of 5.4. We don't have that right now. We took this Sutram 3298. So the Pratyaya Da is not a Swadi Pratyaya. Tasmat Vasanya na sambhavati. Then Katham Tehe iti Sutram Prayujyate. Katham Tarhi. How can we use Tehe? Is the Ditkarna Samarthyat Prayujyate. Is because of the Da as an It cannot have Anyat Prayojanam. So in the commentary, Kashika says, or Siddhanta Kaumudi says, Ditkarana Samarthyat atva Anubandhakarana Samarthyat Abhasyapi Ter Lopaha. Abhasyapi Ter Lopaha. Even though Bhasanya is not there, we can use 64143 to do the T Lopaha because of the Anubandhakarana Samarthyat. So because of the Do as an It. So anyway, 64143 we use even though the Angam doesn't have a Bhasanya. So next time when you're looking for T Lopaha, try to think of 64143. One more warning for you is that this nasty thing which Panini does is that the shloka, Sutram Tehe comes in the same thing, almost like 12 sutras below. Tehe, Tehe. So same Sutram, Tehe, Tehe. But Anuvritti is coming differently. Anuvritti Bhedat. Mahan Artha Bheda Vartate. There's a difference in meaning. Because this stage is only for these pratyayas. This Ishtha, the Imanich and the Iyasun. Only for these pratyayas, this Tehe can be used. Well, our Tehe is for any Bhasanya when you have, it becomes, and the Da as an It. This was not for Da as an It. This was for something else, it is, If you have a Bhasanya with these pratyayas, then Tehe. So be careful that two Tehe is very close to each other. The one that we want is 143 Tehe. So when they're using Sutram Tehe, is the extension for that. Of course, in the meanwhile, this Nyasi is going to go by the Supo Dhatu Pradipadika Yoho. Within a Pradipadikam, a Sup cannot stay. So we're going to get the Atman plus the Lopa has taken place here, which is the 0. Can put maybe a 0 here, which is the 2471, and then we have only the Ja remains, Ja plus A. So we use 2471 to do the supluk of the Nyasi, and then we use 64143 with the by extending it, Dit Anubandhakarana Samarthyat extension. Okay, so we got now last thing we need is now we have finished the Karyam in the Sapa Saptadhyayi. We got about Tripadi now, Nakara Lopaha. This many of you should know, I think. Let's see, does Manoj know? Manoj must know this. Manoj, do you know this sutram? Manoj is there. Okay. I think Raja will know this sutram definitely. Manoj and Raja will know. Let me see. Usha, Manoj, you know this?
Sorry, there is a lot of background noise, so I missed out what you were asking.
Okay.
So
No, I was just
maybe
looking
Usha
at
ji
this Atman. Atman plus Ja we have. Looking for the Nakara Lopaha. Nakar, I want to do the Nakar Lopa over here. Looking for the Sutram in Tripadikar. It's okay. Don't know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Let me see. Usha ji should definitely know this. Usha ji? Atman plus Ja.
Satish ji, is it Allopo Naha?
There's only Al-Lopa, At-Lopa. I want the Nakar Lopa, I want. And Al-Lopa is, is 0.6.4, right? Very good. 827. Thank you. It's no lopa pradipadikantasiya. Thank you. So it's 827. Is the 827 says if you have a nakara, which is a pradipadika nakara, at the end of a padam, because the nyasi had come and gone, it is a suptingantam padam, because pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. So Atman retains the padasanya, even though nyasi has taken lopaha, doesn't matter. Pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, suptingantam padam. Atman has padasanya. Then no lopa of pradipadikantasya. We have to take the 827 says that if you have a nakara, which is pradipadika nakaraha, then padasya ante vidyamanaha. It is at the end of a padam, and then that nakara is dropped. One more time, has to be a nakara, pradipadika nakaraha, and then it has to be padanta nakaraha, then tasya lopasya. So atma plus ja. These are things which I wanted to practice, please, because we're not going to get this from the commentator, because these are now things which you're supposed to know. So practice these as much as you can. So 8 to 7 drops the na. Drops the na. Okay, and I'm trying to pick and choose my spot, otherwise it will take too much time in the class. So as it we're going kind of slow, but I want to at least do some of them in the class to give you the practice, to hopefully keep the connection with the Ashtadhyayi all the time. Okay, so we got the Atmaja, and then declined, of course, dual Atmajau. Now, simple sentence is Dasharatha Atmajau Rishim Rarakshatuhu. Now, next he takes the adjective Dikshitam Rishim. Diksh dhatu Diksh. Diksh is to consecrate, to become pure for the ceremony. Diksha, there's no, I think there may not be like an exact English translation for the Diksha. Diksha, when you prepare for some kind of a puja or yajna, whatever, then the Dikshita is one then he cannot do anything else. But this is the thing with Vishwamitra api swayam kshatriyaha, Shuratamaha api. So he also was a kshatriya, he was also brave. So why does he need Ramasya sahayam kasmad apekshate? Because why does he need the help of Rama and Lakshmana? Of course, you can always say that it was, tayoho shikshartham, you want to teach them. But then, he was Dikshita. So he cannot then, he cannot do swarakshanam api kartum asamartha. He cannot do yajna rakshanam kartum asamartha, I should say. He cannot do the yajna rakshanam on his own. That's why Dikshita padagrahanam. So Kalidasa said that he could not do it. He said Diksha Sanskritam. This means he was purified by the Diksha. Means that is the initiation or the consecration ceremony. Then he was pure. Once you're pure, you cannot do any laukika things. You should not be chatting anything in the yajna, on the side about, the stock market. That's not Diksha. But that Diksha means he has to be doing only that Vedika karma. So Diksha Samskritam, that's the way he was. So this is a, you can easily take it as a Nishtha only Dikshita, or simple way. There's another way you can take it as a Tadita also. So Diksha, one is one who has taken Diksha. There's another pratyaya called Itach, by the way. I want to introduce that to you, Itach. Because in Devada's book, there is also some nice comments at the back, in which he points out the word Dikshita could also be considered as a, because look at the commentary, the commentary is saying Diksha Sanskritam is that he was consecrated by the Diksha. So we can rather than taking Diksha with Nishtha pratyaya, which also we can do, make it Dikshita. We can also make it as one in whom the Diksha was born, the Diksha was taken. So that is a pratyaya which Panini gives in the Tadita section, and the final form looks very much like a past participle, like in this one, Dikshita. So that the sutram is Tadasya Sanjatam Tarakadibhya Itach. Pratyaya is Itach pratyaya is used. So we could have used Dhatu Diksh directly with the pratyaya Ta, Idagama, Dikshita. We can use, or we can use this another, we give you the 5236, Tadasya Sanjatam Tarakadibhya Itach. So this 5236 says that, for example, we say Tarakitam Navaha, Pushpita Pushpito Drumaha. It is a tree which has flowered. It is a starry sky. So these are, that, so that is that in which the stars have been born. That is, which have appeared. It is that in which the flowers have appeared, like Phalitam Karyam. It is the work in which the fruit has appeared, means fruitful work. So we could say Diksha and add the pratyaya Itach by 5236 and make it was the Rishi in whom the Diksha had appeared or had shown up, means that he was consecrated. So 5236, just to give you a this Tadasya Sanjatam, means it has appeared, has showed up, it has been born in him. For him, this has happened to him. Is the Diksha has happened for him. Tarakadibhya Itach. The Tarakadi Gana is there. So Tarakitam Navaha. So Tarakaha Sanjataha Asya Nabhasya Tarakitam Navaha. So that one you can take the pratyaya Itach. We can 5230. It's another way of following from Dikshita. You can take 5236 and then take it like just give so make it make Diksha plus the Itach. Of course, the Itach means the ending chur is Bahalantyam. That's for Vedic Swara purposes, doesn't matter to us. I'm sorry, Itach. So Anubandha Lope Ita. And now the Diksha has a Bhasanya. The Itach Pratyaya was from 5236. It's a Swadi Pratyaya. Yachibham. It's beginning with the Ach letter. So that's going to have the Anga will get the Bhasanya. So we had 5236. Then Yasya Ticha. Sutram which we have seen many times is the Avarnantasya, Ivarnantasya, Bhasanyakasya, Angasya, Lopasyat, Tadite Ikare Chapare. Very important sutram is that when you have any Angam which has a Bhasanya ending in Avarna or Ivarna, means long or short, in that case that Avarna or Ivarna drops. Tadite Ikare Chapare. When you have Tadita Pratyaya following or a long E, the feminine E ending following. So here we had the Tadita Pratyaya following, so become Diksh plus Ita, Dikshita. So 564148. Yasya Ticha Sutram. Yasya Ticha. The Bhasya Dikara. So that can become Dikshita, can become like that also. So Diksha Sanskritam Rishim. Again, adjective before the noun. Adjective before the noun. Adjective before the noun. So Nama Shabdat Puram Tasya Visheshanam. That is in the Anvaya. In the Anvaya, that's Anvaya is done that way. So Dikshitam Rishim. Then he takes the Karanam. He is Sharaihi. Titiyam. Sharaihi is clearly very simple. Karanati Titiya. Karanati Titiya. So in the sense of instrument is by their arrows. By their arrows. Then Vignebhyaha. Vignebhyaha is now the Vigna is like a Sankatam or Apad. Apadbhyaha. So what is saying Vignataha? The Tas Pratyaya, Tadda Pratyaya, it means use of Panchamyarthe, Apadanarthe, from obstacles. So there's two things going on here. Dhatu is Han. So V plus Han is the Dhatu. That has given the form Vigna. So that is one Vignam for us. we have to Vigna for us is that we have to figure out how that V plus Han became Vignam. And then Vignataha, as a Pratyaya Tas has been added to make it into a Tadita form, which is in the sense of Panchami. So Vigna. So let's try to do step by step. Let's see if we can form the word vigna first. And V plus pratyaya, it's mostly a masculine form, but sometimes also a feminine form, vigna. Now, one of the best places to find answers to these questions is the Krudanta Rupamala. Krudanta Rupamala is one thing, set of 5 books which you should keep for reference many times, because it has, this is clearly Krudanta form clearly, and we know the dhatu is han, so it has to come at the end of the in the fifth volume. If you look at the form there, you will find the pratyaya is probably going to be a ka, the ka pratyaya from vigna. Now this is going to be a pratyaya in the sense of forming a noun. So then here he should give us a sutram, which will give us the here let's see, vignaha. Pratyaka, okay, vignaha. It's on page 1410, by the way, is the says vignaha is ghanyarthe ka vidhanam astha sna pa vyadhi hani, and then some yudyartham. So it is vartikam on 3358. Iti ka pratyaha visheshana hanti iti vignaha. Visheshana hanti iti vignaha is the one which kind of strikes you specially or intensely. So it is vignaha. So 3358, there's a vartikam. The reason I want to bring this up is that you should use these books, then, because we know it's a Krudanta form. If you know the dhatu is han. Now how do you know the pratyaya ka will fit over here? Let's go through the process now. Okay, let's first look at the sutram 3358, and let's look at that for a second. Again, Mallinatha will not give any of these things because they are fundamental, they are basics. That's why we have to try to figure out on our own if we can do that. We can just give you a little bit of drill in Vyakaranam. So let's see, 3358. Remember I mentioned to you before in this class that the single pada of Ashtadhyayi, where you want to form nouns from verbs, is 3.3. Within that 3.3, from 331819 up to that 3394 from masculine nouns. Well, again, not all of them, but many of them are coming over there. All the famous pratyaya ghahi and the apavadas of ghahi. And so this is because the default pratyaya. Let's look at that for a second. We already saw this today early in the class. This adhikar of bhave and akriti chakarake sanyayam. We saw that. So now this pratyaya is the ghanyarte ka vidhanam. So this is 3358. Is this sutram 3358? Let's see what he said. There must be a vartikam over here. Okay, let's see. Nyasa kashika vritti. So ghanyarthe ka vidhanam stha sna pa vyadi hani yudyartham. Yudyartham in the sense of, it is the sense of the to strike or to oppress or to attack, that which attacks, is the 3358 vartikam. So pratyaya is ka. So while we're doing that, can somebody in the class volunteer to give some steps for me? I want to get from V han plus ka. For lashakvatadhyate, the ka is an it. So only akara avashishyate. I want to get from that to the form vigna. So vigna. In fact, the Kashika gives the vartikam ghanyarthe ka vidhanam stha sna pa vyadi hani yudyartham. So it says, actually, you know what? I have a bit of a problem here with the, because in the Krudanta Rupamala, the Vigraha Vakya is Visheshana Hanti iti Vignaha. That can be Vigna itself, because I just told you that this cannot be used Kartari Arthe. Kartari Arthe cannot be used. Again, I shouldn't say, because these are all great scholars who write these books. Maybe I could be wrong. But I have a big problem here, because we just went in the beginning of the class when we were looking at that word, the arhana, when we derived that. I went to these two sutras which adhikara going down is bhave and akartari. Akartari chakarake sanyaya. So vigna could not be the one who kills really, akartari. But I'm saying the Kurand Rupamala is saying Visheshana Hanti iti Vignaha. So a bit of a problem. The Chintyam, that should be something to think about, because the Kashika gives the Vigraha Vakyam. You can go to Kashika. The Vigraha Vakyam is different. And the Kashika Vigraha Vakyam is the Vihanyante Asmin Niti Vignaha. So this is I like it Vyakarana wise, because it is that in which people get hurt. So Vihanyante, or get struck. It is that in which people get struck. So it's a situation. So Vigna is an obstacle, a situation in which people get struck or get, So Vihanyante Asmin Niti Vignaha. I tend to like that a little bit more than the Rupamala. I don't know why he has given the V. See, these are things you can think about if you know Vyakaranam. Because even though it looks nice, Visheshana Hanti iti Vignaha, it doesn't look to be proper in this context. Again, I shouldn't say, because these are also, good scholars who write these things. Anyway, think about it. According to me, I like the Kashika vritti better. Vihanyante asmin iti Vignaha, because iti akartari iti adhikara vartate. You cannot think kartari arte. Anyway, doesn't matter. We got the pratyaya. We got the meaning. So now we just have to finish the Anga Karyam now and get the form Vignaha. So this was the Vartikam. This is a Vartikam. Ganyateka Vidhanam. Okay. So okay, let's anybody in the class want to help me out a little bit here? I'm looking to get from V plus the, of course, the V is a Upasarga. I will not participate in this prakriya, but let's keep the V separate. Then I want to go from Han. I want the pratyaya ka, which is anubandha lope a, because the shakva tadjite. This pratyaya is not tadjita, because tadjita starts from 4176, by the way. We are right now talking about Vartikam on 3358. So 3358 will not, is not tadjita pratyaya. So the shakva tadjite, because the ka can only be an it if it is not tadjita pratyaya, the shakva tadjite. So 3358 we used by the extension by the Vartikam. And now can someone help me to go from here to the Vigna? Anybody? Okay, Ushaji, thank you. Okay, so we have an yes, Ushaji.
Because it is Tadita, Yaseti cha?
No, it's not Tadita, because Tadita is from 4176. This is 3350, because we use Lashakva Tadita, right? Lashaku Atadite. So this is not Tadita. Tadita only starts from 4176. Otherwise, the curve will not be an it if it's Tadita. Okay, let me help you out. What I need is to drop this akara in between first. When that happens, then I can make the ha into ga. By the way, in Bhagavad Gita, remember we had that? I think we had it in the Raghuvamsham also we had, I think, last time. Okay, Gita, in the first chapter, it's in two places. Gnatopi etan nahantum ichhami. Gnatopi madhusudana. Api trailokya rajyasya heto kinna mahikrute. One place. Second place also, kulagnanam kulasya cha. So in the first chapter itself of the Bhagavad Gita, you have gna in two places. This is Arjuna Vacha. Is the etan nahantum ichhami gnatopi madhusudana. Api trailokya rajyasya. This is what I tell you. If you know the Gita Vyakaranam, if you know really well, then these forms will not surprise you. Let's see. Says okay, yes, Kulagnanam. So this is in the 42 number, and I think this is okay. And the other one will be Etan Hantum Ichhami. So that's 42 Kulagna. So then the other one is the Etan Hantum Ichhami Gnatopi Madhusudana Pitrailokya Rajyasya Heto Nihatadhata Rashtranaha Kapitis, I think I passed it. Kapitis Chajanardana. Here it is. Gnatopi. This is the present participle form. So I don't want to kill these, even though they are killing, even though they are striking. So this is Shatur Pratyaya. Okay, I'll give you a hint now. The Shatur Pratyaya is Pratyaya is Sarvadhatuka Pratyaya. It doesn't have purs in it. So Sarvadhatukam Apitta. It was in Nitvat. Pratyaya also here in Kulagna also Pratyaya is a Ka Pratyaya has been used in some way, that has probably Ka has been used. So then what we need is some sutram If will drop for us this madhyavarti akaraha, madhyavartinah akarasya lopaha atra ishyate. We want to get the lopaha of that the akara in the middle, and kiti niti pratyaya pare. Okay, the what this? Yes.
498.
Yes, very good. She got it. 6498. Gama, Hana, and some sutra says kinityanangi. So if you have kit nit pratyaya following and Gama, Hana, and some other dhatus, they will drop the upadha lopaha. 6498 is the Gama, Hana, Jana, Khana, Ghasam lopaha kinityanangi. And this anuvritti upadhaya is coming. So the anuvritti of upadha is coming. So the upadha lopaha takes place for these dhatus. The pratyaya following is kit or nit. Now we are slowly getting there. So now we got rid of that, the madhyavarti akara, the akara between the ha and the na. So, but this sutram says that when you have the gama hana jana khana ghasam lopaha kinityanangi. And so now the okay, so that we got, so 6498 we'll get rid of that akara. Now last sutra, anybody can give me how will the ha change to gha?
Dhate,
So
dhator.
that's only dader dhator gha for that's only for a hakara. Only dader dhato. We don't have that. That's jhali padanti, which also we don't have. So dhatu han, there's a sutra for dhatu han, which will do that for us. Does anybody remember in the class which we have that? So we plus now we got ha, na, a. So we have U6498. I think Anuji should know this. You should know this one, I think. Yes. Yes, Anuji.
Ho hante ginanshu.
Ninyeshu. Ho hante ninyeshu. Okay, what does Sutram say? Sutram, that will be what number, Anuji, was roughly?
7354.
7354, thank you. What Sutram says is that if the hakara of han, dhatu han, single dhatu han, hakara of that takes the kavarga adesha. Anuvritti comes from this chajoho kughinyatoho. So the hakara of han takes the kavarga adesha. Kavarga means hakara is a mahaprana. It is a mruduvarna. It is going to take the ka kha ga gha number 4. The sthanayantara tamaha. So it's a mahaprana. It's a mruduvarna. So ka kha ga gha. The ga will be closest match for it. And when does that happen? Ho hantehe. So hantehe hakarasya. Nyin neshu. Nyin means the pratyaya has either the tavarga panchama na as an it, the chavarga panchama nya as an it, which we don't have. Pratyaya we have is ka right now, or neshu. It's all the nakara. So either nakara should follow immediately, which is what we have, or should pratyaya which has the tavarga panchama as na as an it, or nya chavarga panchama as an it. So in these three conditions, any one of these three. We don't have pratyaya which has this nya or na as an it, but we do have the nakara falling immediately. So ho hanter ninyesho. That takes the kavarga adesha. So by 7354, we're going to get the gakara adesha, 7354. So we get so all vignas have gone for us now. We got the form vigna. So vig no. Okay, and it's mostly used in the masculine. So let's go back to the commentary and see what it says. Is vigna taha. The vigna taha is a tadisa pratyaya, the tas pratyaya, which is coming now. Now this also I want to point out to you some little bit detail, because there's a pratyaya called tasil, and that comes in the beginning of 5.3, which creates an avyaya. And this says that panchamyas tasil. Let's go there for one second. Panchamyas tasil. That's not the one which is going to apply here. I'll tell you why not. Because this says is that they're limited to only certain pratipadikams. So when you add a sadhya pratyaya, you should know which pratipadikam, prakriti. What is the prakriti which can take that? So it says what is panchamya tasil say? Because anuvritti is coming of this kim sarvanama bahubhyo adviyadibhya. So if the word kim is there, or Sarvanama Shabda, which pronouns which we don't have, we have the word Vigna. So the word Vigna will create a Vigna for us because we don't have Kim, we don't have Sarvanama Shabda, we don't have the word Bahu. So that one Panchamyas Tasil says Kim Sarvanama Bahobhyas Tasil Pratyabhavati Panchamyantebhyaha. Panchamyanta was nice, but we could not use the word Tasil because of the Pratyaya Tasil, because this is limited to those only. And then, but there's another sutram which says that there is a 5444, the Pratyaya called Tasi. So Tasi Pratyaya is included. So because this we cannot, I want to point out, we cannot use 537, even though it's tempting to use that. Yadipi pralobanam asti atra, pralobanam asti, we are tempting to use that. We should not use it because that's limited to only Kim Sarvanama Bahubhya Adviyadibhya, which doesn't, we don't qualify for that. But 5444, the one which says that the Pratiyoge Panchamyastasihi Apadane Chahiya Ruhoho. That's 5445 actually. That 44 says has a Vartikam on it, is that this Tasi Pratyaya can be used in the sense of any Vibhakti. That's a very powerful Vartikam on this, that 54. They call this the Sarva Vibhaktiko Tasihi. Sarva Vibhaktiko Tasihi Vibhaktikaha. So this Tasi can stand for any Vibhakti. For example, Kashika gives the example, Ado is equals Aditaha. So Adita means in the beginning, not from the beginning. So Ado is Aditaha. So Parshvataha means on the sides. So Parshvataha Tishtati. He stands on the sides. So on the side, not from the side, but on the side. So the Sarva Vibhaktika Tasihi is the Vartikam on the 5444. But we can use the 40, we don't need the Vartikam because we have 45. Apadane Chahiya Ruhoho. Apadane Arthe. The separation from that. So Gramataha Agachati, Gramada Agachati. Chorataha Bibheti, Chorat Bibheti. So this Apadana Arthe, except for this, these couple of things excluded from that, the He and Ruha, we don't have that. So I think we can use 5445 here. Apadane Chahiya Ruhoho. Because 5444 only in the sense of special meaning of Pratiyoga, like a substitute kind of. Pratiyoga is kind of a substitute. So that we don't have substitution. We have the Apadana here, so I think 5445. But the reason I'm going through all this because I wanted to point out to you that this 531, which will not work for us, Panchamyas, because the temptation is to say Panchamyas, Tasil, that is not correct. That's only for those Pratipadikams only. That's what you should watch out for, only for Kim Sarvanama Bahubhyo Dviyadibhyaha. But we have 54, 44, 45 available to us. And if you didn't have the Apadana, then you have to go for the Vartikam on 5444. But we have this Apadana, I say we have, so I think we can use 5445 because the Malinatha gives us Vignebhyaha. He has given that, from that, he already has given that. He's not going to give you any sutram because we're supposed to know this. Just put in the document, Vignataha. So a lot of Vyakaranam, even the simple thing like Vignataha, we can learn a lot of things from that. So Vignatas, we have to use the, I'll give it as Tas maybe. And then of course, Vignatas, when you do Sasajusho, Ruhu, and all that you can do on your own, right? So Vignatas, Karavasana, Visajaniya, and all that. So Vignatas, we have to use the 5445. Okay. We're running out of time, I think. So Vignatas, okay, Vignato, Sasajusho, Ruhu. Then we do the Hashicha, Ataha, Hashicha, U, then Adgunaha, Vignato. I mean, like Namo Narayanaya, same Sandhi, Vignataha, Vignebhyaha. Then he says, down comes the Kramoditau Shashi Divakarau. Shidivakarau. Is Kramena equals Paryayena Ratri Divasayoho Uditau. What's the Vigraha Vakyam? Is Krama Udita. Kramena Udita. Udita. Udi is to go. Udi is to rise. Udi means to go up. So Udita means risen up. So Kramena Uditau means Kramena equals Paryayena. equals rati divasayoho. So he says kramena means in sequence, one after the other. Means paryayena, means in turn. Paryayana means by turn. Pari is to turn around. So in turn. Rati means in turn means what? Rati divasayoho means at night and at night and then at daytime. Who are they? Udito means risen up. It's qualifying whom? This is a Tritiya Tatpurusha count. It's qualifying Shashi Divakarau. Shashi Divakarau, no commentary. We should know that Shashin is Pratipadikam. Shash is a rabbit. The dhatu is shash also. It means one who jumps around. Shash. Shashin is also in the sense of a matu pratyaya. Ata inithanau. If you have a Pratipadika ending in short take this in to form a one who has that. So one who has a rabbit, is a rabbit stamped, the moon, so Shashin. So Ata inithanau, and of course then Yasya teacher. Maybe we should, okay, let me slow down. I think maybe I'm going too fast. Coming to the end of the class, but let me slow down a little bit. So we had the 5294, tadasyastyasminiti matup, and then on the below that comes Ata inithanau. So if we have Adanta Pratipadikam, like a word like Balin, one who has Balam asya asti iti Balin. So Ataha inithanau. So ini and than pratyas can be used. So what we have is Shashin. Shashaha is a rabbit. So really what we have is the we have Shasha plus the pratyaya ini. So anubandha lope, because it's upadesha and the nasika it, only in remains. And there is the 5 2, I think, what is it, 104, I think we said, right? So 5 through 104. So Shashin. And here also we have to do the no lopa pratipadikantasiya 827. In the compound, you have to apply in the compound Shashi Divakarau, the Shashin, we drop the Nakara by the no lopa pratipadikantasiya. So Shashin plus this is a Dvandva compound. It's a Dvandva compound. So Divakarau. So we really have to put Shashin plus Su plus Diva. In fact, let me do that. We'll just do this and we'll stop after this. So I'm saying Shashin plus Su plus Divakara plus Su, A and B. Charthe Dvandvaha. So I'll tell you why I'm putting the Su, I'll tell you why in a second. But Shashin plus Su plus Divakara plus Su. And now we're going to get the Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho. Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho. We're going to have the two Sus dropping here. So 2477, because Sup cannot stay inside a Pratipadikam. The Samasta Padam has a Pratipadika Sanyave Krit Tadita Samasascha. So then the Su Pratyas, they drop, become Shashin Divakara. Now the Nakara is going to drop by no lopa pratipadikantasiya. Question comes in that if you had the Shashin on its own in a nominative form, it becomes Shashi. Bhagavad Gita, Nakshatranam Aham Shashi, chapter 10, Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. How come it become Shashi Dirgha over there? And why not Dirgha over here now? Why did that become Shashi? It's become Shashin. So what is going on here, which is not going on there? Anybody in the class? Is Nakshatranam Aham Shashi Bhagavad Gita. But here Kalidasa has Shashi Divakarau. Why not this E becoming there? Of course, we had to go Sutra which made a Dirgha. Yeah, Anuji had. This was Anuji's copyrighted section. Yeah. Okay. Anuji? Yes.
Saucha.
Saucha.
Because, yeah.
So then why not then apply here in the compound, Anuji? We also have the two coming here.
Because that is 1-1, right? Nominative singular.
Correct,
Shashi.
but even here when I put the Vigraha Vakyam for you in the here, we also had Shashin plus Su. Even here we have Su. Okay, let's for the benefit of the class, let me just explain what Anuji is saying. Is that Sutram is Saucha. In Han Pushan Aryam Nam, Pusharyam Nam Shau. So these inantas, and then if you have Han anta, then Pushan and Aryaman. When you have this, And saucha, when this is for shau, and then saucha, when su follows, it becomes the upada dirgha, becomes shashin. Why did not happen here, Anuji? Because why 6413? Because I do have su here also, you know. And why did it not apply? 6430 not apply. Remember the su went away over sutram 2471. Suppose dhatu pradivedika yoho. Look syat. Look. No, then which sutram stops the anga karyam from that? After you do look, why no anga karyam can be done? Nalumata angasya. Nalumata angasya is the sutram, which I want to explain to the class is that when you do any of these look, shlu, look elisions, not just the lopaha, look, shlu, look, but lu shabdena, but the lu should be in there, lu. So lup and lopaha are not the same things. Look, shlu, lup have the lu in there. And when that is done, any anga karyam is stopped. You still have pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. So you can get the padasanya for shashin. That's going to enable us to drop the nakara by 8 to 7. But you cannot do the upada dirgha based on that saucha sutram. Because na lumata angasya. When you do a look, shlu, lup, that pratyaya cannot further do any anga karyam. Na lumata angasya. Na lumata angasya is 1163. So I'll put here, I know we're out of time right now, I understand that. So 1163, Nalumata Angasya stops, I can say disables the 6413. So it does not become shashin, the shashin. And then we use the 827 to drop the na as before. Then 827, in Tripadi section drops the nakara. So again, these are small things, but I want to, because you might be thinking if you have in Gita, Nakshatra, Maham Shashi, there also you have the long E. Here also Shashin plus Su you have. Then how come this did not become Shashi? Because this Su went away by a look elision by 2471, Supo Dhatu Pradivedika Yoho, then that, even though it says Pratyaya Lakshanam is there, that gives us a Padasanya to Shashin, that is fine. You cannot do any anga karyam based on this pratyaya which took the look elision. Nanumata angasya. So anyway, you got Shashi and Divakara, Shashi Divakarao. So let's wind up for the day. We'll give you some homework. Okay, let me quickly read the commentary for you. You can practice at home and we can do next time now. Shashi Divakarao, Rashmi Bhihi is Tritya Bahuvachanam, by their rays. Now again, within the Upamaya, compare the Vibhaktis, please. What is in Tritya in the Upameya was Sharaihi. In the Upama, Rashmibhihi. So the Sharaihi is being compared to Rashmibhihi. Shashi Divakarau is in the Prathama Divachanam, being compared to Rama Lakshmanau, the Sharatatmajau. So Rama and Lakshmana are compared to the moon and the sun. And the Sharaihi is by the Rashmibhihi. Just like the moon and the sun protect the world from the intense darkness by their rays. Similarly, Rama and Lakshmana protected the Rishi Vishwamitra from obstacles. That's the meaning. So please make the comparison. Please understand who's being compared to whom. And then Rashmibhi, Andha Tamasad, he says, Gada Dhvantat. I'm a little bit fast, we'll complete next time. Gada means very deep, dhatu gah. Gah is to immerse. So Gada Dhvantat means from very pitch darkness. And of course, Amar Kosha, Dhvante Gade Andha Tamasam. In the sense of very pitch darkness, the word Andha Tamasam can be used. Amar Kosha says that. But the word is tamas. How it become tamasa? Where did the akara come from in tam? Because Andha Tamasat means it will be like Vanat or Ramat. So Andha Tamasat like Vanat. But if particle of Andha Tamas, it become Andha Tamasaha. How it become Andha Tamasat? Then he gives the Pani Sutram, Ava Sammandebhyas Tamasaha. This is at the end of the compound. If you have the word tamas preceded by either ava, sam or andha, then that tamas takes the pratyaya. Iti samasanto ach pratyaya, becomes tamasa. Then lokam iva, lokam is in dvitiya, compared with rishim on the top side. The rakshatuho, look at the ending atus, please. We already saw today also the Padanam Nal Atusus, I think 3482, I think it is. Atus ending comes in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. Tashvetayidhayed yukte mahatisyandane sthitao madhavav pandavaschaiva divyav shankar padadmatuhu. Ending in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. Atuhu means is the Dvivachanam, Prathama Purushasya Dvivachanam. So it means they protected. But then he makes a comment on that, and we stop with that. Rakshana pravruttav abhutam ityarthaha. Because they are not protected yet. They only Rakshana pravruttav abhutam means they began protecting. They started to protect. They started to protect, or they engage in protecting, not protected. So this means they're protected already. We're saying what he's paraphrasing that what it means is that they began protecting. Okay, we'll continue next time. Mangalach, any question? I'll stay back. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Vaje Ramena Abhiyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Rama Nama Varadane Shri Rama Nama Varadane. When we're okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Just stop recording, yes.